Chosen one, stop worrying for a moment. Put down the fear you have been carrying in your chest. Slow your breathing, let your shoulders soften. This message did not reach you by accident, and it did not find you because your worry was stronger than your faith. It found you because heaven saw the pressure building around your life. You have been trying to stay calm. You have been telling people you are fine. You have been smiling when they ask how things are going. But when the room gets quiet, your mind starts counting again. It counts the bills. It counts the due dates. It counts the days left. And every number seems to whisper the same word: not enough. You know that feeling. It meets you early. It sits on your chest before your feet touch the floor. It follows you into the kitchen, into the car, and into the night when everyone else is sleeping. You try to pray it off. You try to think positive. But the pressure keeps circling because the burden has been heavy for too long. Some days the fear is loud. Some days it is quiet. But it is there. It shows up when your phone lights up with a new message. It shows up when an email arrives and your stomach tightens before you even open it. It shows up when somebody says the word money and your whole body reacts before your mind has time to speak. That is how deep this has gone. Chosen one, you are not weak because this has worn you down. You are not faithless because you have cried over numbers. You are not broken because your mind has been tired. You have simply been carrying more than most people can see. And when a person carries silent pressure for too long, even small things begin to feel large, and even simple decisions begin to feel heavy. You have been carrying your needs. You have been carrying other people's needs too. You think about what the house needs. You think about what your family may ask for next. You think about what could go wrong next week. And even when nothing is happening in front of you, your spirit stays alert because it has learned to expect another hit. That is why rest has been hard. You may lie down, but your mind keeps moving. You may close your eyes, but your thoughts keep calculating. You may tell yourself to calm down, but your body has been trained to brace for impact. So even when there is a quiet moment, it does not feel like peace. It feels like a short pause before the next demand reaches your door. And there is something else you have felt, even if you have not said it out loud. You have wondered why this has lasted so long. You have asked why your effort has not matched your outcome. You have tried to be responsible. You have tried to keep your heart clean before God. But still, there have been moments when life felt like a closed hand instead of an open one. You may have asked yourself if you missed something. You may have wondered if you made one wrong decision that set everything back. You may have replayed conversations in your head, trying to find the moment where things shifted. But listen carefully. This season of pressure is not proof that you were abandoned. It is not evidence that heaven forgot your address, and it is not the final truth about your life. What makes this weight even harder is that other people do not always see it. They see you functioning. They see you showing up. They see you getting through the day, so they assume you are managing well. But they do not hear the inner noise. They do not hear the private questions. They do not hear the silent prayers you whisper when you wonder how it will all be covered. You are not alone in this. You are being seen in this. Every time you held it together for one more day, heaven saw that. Every time you swallowed your fear and kept going, heaven saw that too. Every time you chose not to collapse, even while your mind was racing and your energy was low, that strength was not ignored. There is a record of your endurance, and none of it has been wasted. You have also felt the tension between faith and fear. One part of you believes God will make a way. Another part of you keeps looking at the visible facts and tightening inside. You speak words of hope, but your body is still holding alarm. You want to trust with ease. Yet your system has been living in survival for so long that trust can feel harder than struggle. That conflict has exhausted you, and survival has a language. It teaches you to scan for danger. It teaches you to expect delay. It teaches you to prepare for disappointment before joy has a chance to arrive. So even when a small opening appears, your mind may wonder how long it will last. Your heart braces itself. And what should have felt like relief gets filtered through old fear. This is why you have not been able to enjoy simple things the way you once did. Even in calm moments, a thought can interrupt the peace. Even in laughter, a concern can rise. Even when someone blesses you, your mind can jump to the next shortage before you have fully received the present mercy. It is difficult to feel secure when your inner world has been trained to expect lack before provision. But hear this with your whole spirit. The pressure you have been feeling is real, but it is not permission to build your identity around fear. The numbers may be real, the bills may be real, the uncertainty may be real, yet none of those things have the authority to tell you who you are. You are not a person marked by lack. You are not a soul designed for panic. You are still covered. That word matters. Covered, not ignored, not forgotten, not cursed, covered. Even now, while your mind has questions and your situation feels tight, there is movement around your life that you cannot yet see. There are things being shifted outside your current view. There are old fears coming to the surface because they are being exposed, and what gets exposed can finally be healed. So do not mistake this moment. Do not read this pressure as the whole story. Do not assume the tension means there is no provision. Sometimes the deepest fear rises right before an old agreement is broken. Sometimes the inner panic gets loud because it senses it is losing control. And sometimes the reason you feel this message so strongly is because your spirit knows a change has already begun. The real issue is not only what has been happening around your finances, it is what the pressure has been trying to convince you about yourself. It has been trying to tell you that you are on your own. It has been trying to tell you that support can disappear at any time. It has been trying to tell you that peace is fragile and that you must live clenched to stay prepared. That lie has gone deep, but it is about to be confronted. Because what you have been calling constant worry is not just a habit. It is a burden attached to your sense of safety. And before provision can feel natural again, that burden must be named. So stay with me. What looks like financial pressure on the surface is connected to something deeper. And once you see it clearly, you will understand why this season is not punishment, but repositioning. Chosen one, now let this truth settle deeper. You are not being punished, you are being repositioned. The pressure around your finances is not the final announcement over your life. It is a sign that an old source is losing its right to control your peace, and heaven is teaching you how to receive without panic. You thought the closed door meant failure. You thought the delay meant rejection. You thought the silence meant God had moved on to someone else. But sometimes heaven closes a channel because that channel trained you to beg, shrink, over-explain, and live afraid. A door can feed you and still keep you bound. This is why some things stopped working. The same effort did not bring the same return. The same plan did not carry the same strength. The same people who once supported you became unstable. You kept asking why the flow changed, but the deeper question was this: why would God keep feeding your future through something that kept teaching your soul to live in fear? That is why this season has felt so uncomfortable. You are not only dealing with bills, you are dealing with the breaking of an old agreement. Somewhere along the way, your heart began to believe that your safety lived inside a paycheck, a person, an approval, a client, a bank number, or a visible plan. God is not mocking that fear. He is healing it. And this is where many chosen ones miss the shift. They think provision begins when money arrives, but often provision begins when clarity returns. A confused mind can walk past an open door. A panicked heart can reject a divine instruction. A tired spirit can mistake a new beginning for another risk, because fear has trained it to see danger before it sees grace. There is a simple 7-minute audio I will speak about more deeply later. It is called The Genius Song. I am only placing the seed here because some chosen ones are not lazy, cursed, or forgotten. They are trying to make sacred decisions with a mind buried under pressure, and before your finances can stabilize, your clarity must begin to return. Do not misunderstand me. No audio replaces prayer. No tool replaces obedience. No sound replaces the voice of God. But there are moments when heaven allows a simple tool to help quiet the noise, sharpen the mind, and make room for the instruction that fear has been drowning out for years. I will return to that later, because this message must first reach the root. The root is not lack. The root is the belief that lack has the right to define you. The root is not a late payment. The root is the old fear that says one late payment means your whole life is unsafe. The root is not a closed door. The root is the wound that says every closed door proves you are unwanted, unsupported, and behind. But you are not behind, you are being realigned. The pace has felt strange because heaven has been changing the system around you. Some people had access to your energy only while you were desperate. Some opportunities could only hold you while you were afraid to ask for better. Some places could only use you while you believed survival was the best you deserved. Now that agreement is breaking. That is why the old comfort does not comfort you anymore. That is why the old routine feels too small. That is why the old way of chasing, pleasing, begging, borrowing, and apologizing for your needs has become unbearable. Your spirit is not becoming difficult. Your spirit is recognizing that you were not created to live permanently beneath your assignment. Chosen one, God is not just trying to get money to you. He is forming stewardship inside you. He is healing the part of you that panics when responsibility increases. He is strengthening the part of you that must manage more than survival. What is coming cannot be carried by the version of you that still believes every blessing can disappear. Heaven is exposing that pattern now, not to shame you, not to punish you, not to make you feel foolish for surviving the only way you knew how. Heaven exposes what it is ready to heal, and this pressure has forced the hidden fear to the surface, so you can finally see what has been making your financial world feel smaller than your calling. This is why you cannot keep calling this only a money problem. Money is part of it. Bills are part of it. The practical need is real, but the deeper battle has been over your expectation. Do you expect to be covered, or do you expect to be abandoned? Do you expect wisdom, or do you expect confusion? Do you expect doors, or do you expect walls? But today, that whisper loses authority. You are not required to obey the voice of past disappointment. You are not required to keep rehearsing what failed. You are not required to keep preparing your heart for another letdown, as if that is humility. True humility is not expecting poverty. True humility is trusting God enough to receive what you could not force. There is a difference between chasing provision and walking into provision. Chasing provision makes you frantic. Walking into provision makes you attentive. Chasing provision says any door is better than no door. Walking into provision says God can open a door without requiring you to abandon your peace, your dignity, or your discernment. That is the shift taking place. You are learning to move from panic to discernment. You are learning to stop treating every urgent feeling as divine instruction. You are learning that fear can be loud and still be wrong. You are learning that a calm spirit can hear more in one quiet moment than a frantic mind can figure out in a whole week. And because heaven saw your exhaustion, He is not only answering the visible need, He is addressing the inner system that kept turning every need into terror. That means your financial covering is not just about an amount. It is about a new posture. It is about waking up without bowing to fear. It is about making choices from guidance instead of pressure. So when you hear, God is paying for your life from now on, do not reduce it to one bill or one sudden deposit. Receive it as a deeper covering. He is covering the gap you cannot close by force. He is covering the delay you cannot explain. He is covering the mind that has been tired from constant calculation. And He is covering the path that you cannot yet see. Chosen one. This is the beginning of a different relationship with provision. You will not keep measuring the love of God by the panic of one moment. You will not keep calling yourself abandoned. because one channel dried up. You will not keep shrinking your prayers to match your bank account. The season of worshipping visible numbers is coming to an end. Stay with me now, because next you need to understand why every major financial shift in Scripture began with a restored mind before it became visible provision. God does not only send resources, He raises the person who can recognize them, receive them, manage them, and move with them without returning to fear. Chosen one, now go deeper with me. Heaven has never treated provision as only a money issue. In Scripture, before resources moved, a mind was often awakened. Before the door opened, discernment was sharpened. Before the promise became visible, God prepared the person who would have to carry it without being destroyed by fear. Think about Joseph. His life did not look covered when he was betrayed. It did not look covered when he was forgotten. It did not look covered when he was sitting in a place he never chose. But the gift inside him was still alive. His provision did not begin with coins in his hand. It began with interpretation, wisdom, timing, and a mind clear enough to understand what God was revealing. Think about Solomon too. He could have asked for wealth first. He could have asked for power first. He could have asked for the removal of every enemy. But he asked for wisdom, and because his request touched the root, everything else followed. Wisdom came before increase. Discernment came before expansion. The mind was covered before the kingdom was covered. Think about Elijah by the brook. The provision came daily, not yearly, not all at once. Daily. God could have filled the whole valley with food, but He chose a rhythm that trained Elijah to trust instruction more than visible storage. The brook was not only a supply, it was a classroom where fear had to bow to the voice of God. Now look at your own life. How many times have you missed peace because your mind was too loud? How many times did fear make a simple choice feel dangerous? How many times did you sense a door, a person, or a timing shift, but talked yourself out of it because pressure was louder than your spirit? This is the part most people ignore. Financial pressure does not only drain the account, it drains attention, it drains imagination, it drains courage. It makes the future look smaller than it really is. When your mind is trapped in survival, it keeps scanning for threats, and while it scans for threats, it can miss the quiet instruction that would have led you toward provision. Science is only beginning to describe what heaven has always understood. Your mind can enter states where focus, intuition, insight, and creative problem-solving become stronger. Many researchers have studied brainwave patterns connected to clarity and flow, and one of the most powerful patterns often discussed is the gamma wave. Gamma is not just a cold word from a lab. For a chosen one, it points to something familiar. It points to the sharpness you once had. It points to the sudden knowing you felt as a child. It points to those moments when ideas arrived whole, when timing felt natural, when your spirit could sense what others missed, and when life felt less heavy and more guided. Somewhere along the way, that sharpness was buried under pressure. School trained you to repeat. Survival trained you to brace. Disappointment trained you to doubt your own discernment. Stress trained your body to stay alert, even when nothing was attacking you. So the gift did not disappear. It became covered by noise, and the noise began to feel normal. Dr. Robert Lake spent decades studying the mind and the way sound can influence brainwave states. Researchers at places like MIT, Princeton, Harvard, and other leading universities have explored the connection between brain rhythms, focus, insight, and higher states of processing. But hear me carefully. This is not about worshipping science. It is about recognizing that even the brain can carry evidence of divine design. That is why the bridge matters. Prayer opens you to God. Obedience moves you with God. Wisdom keeps you aligned with God. And a clearer mind can help you notice the instruction that fear kept burying under noise. The problem was never that heaven stopped speaking. The problem is that pressure became so loud that the whisper felt far away. This is where the genius song begins to make sense for some chosen ones. Not as a replacement for faith, not as a shortcut around obedience, not as a magic trick. It is a 7-minute audio created to support brainwave entrainment and help the mind move toward a more focused, intuitive, receptive state. When used with headphones, it becomes a simple practice for returning to clarity. A tired mind often chooses from fear. A clear mind can choose from discernment. A tired mind grabs whatever looks urgent. A clear mind can wait for what is right. A tired mind mistakes pressure for instruction. A clear mind can sense the difference between a panic door and a God door. That difference can change a life. There was a man in his early 50s who understood this deeply. He had been without work for nearly 2 years after his company reduced staff. He was not lazy. He was not unskilled. He had experience, character, and history. But when interviews came, his mind went cloudy. Words disappeared. Confidence dropped. He knew he still had value, but he could not access the sharpness he once carried. After using the genius song for 11 days, something began to shift. He described it less like luck and more like his mind coming back online. The next interview did not feel forced. His words returned. His thoughts had order. Soon after, he received an offer better than the position he had lost. The change was not only on his resume, it was in his mind. That story matters because it shows a deeper pattern. God did not only send a job, He restored the man who had to walk into the job. God did not only open a door, He strengthened the part of him that had to stand in the doorway without shrinking. Provision moved through clarity, and clarity made him able to receive what fear had almost convinced him to avoid. Chosen one, this is why your financial attack has felt so personal. It was never only about money. It was about your ability to hear. It was about your ability to decide. It was about your ability to move without trembling. It was about your ability to trust a quiet instruction when the visible situation was screaming something else. But heaven is clearing the fog. That is why this message feels like it is pulling something out of you. That is why the old fear is rising, while a new calm is also trying to enter. Two systems are meeting inside you. One system says survive, hide, count, brace, and expect disappointment. The other says listen, stand, receive, move, and trust the covering. You are not being asked to ignore practical reality. You are being invited to stop bowing to it. You can pay attention without panic. You can make plans without worshipping them. You can look at numbers without letting numbers name you. You can be responsible and still be peaceful. Because responsibility was never meant to become torment. So stay close now. Because the real financial attack was not only against your bank account, it was against your hearing, your courage, your timing, and your identity. And in the next part, we must confront the hidden blocker directly. You were never uncovered. You were trained by pain to live like support could disappear at any second, and that agreement must break. Chosen one, now we must confront the hidden thing. The enemy did not only attack your money, fear attacked your identity, pressure attacked your memory, delay attacked your expectation, and somewhere inside the struggle, you began to live as if support could disappear at any moment. That is the agreement we are breaking now, not tomorrow, not someday, now. You are not a beggar standing outside the storehouse of heaven. You are not a forgotten child waiting for scraps. You are not a mistake God has to manage. You are a chosen vessel, being trained to carry provision without losing peace. The real wound was not only the empty place. It was what the empty place made you believe. It made you question your worth. It made you shrink your prayers. It made you feel guilty for needing help. It made you apologize for being human. And slowly, you began to treat survival like it was your permanent name. But survival is not your name. Lack is not your name. Panic is not your name. Debt is not your name. Delay is not your name. Your name is covered. Your name is carried. Your name is remembered. Your name is written in places fear cannot touch, and heaven has not changed its mind about you. You have been saying God will provide while your body still prepares for abandonment. You have been speaking faith while your nervous system waits for another loss. You have been declaring hope while a hidden part of you keeps watching the numbers like they are a throne. This is not condemnation. This is revelation, because whatever you keep checking for safety has become too powerful in your inner world. If the bank number rises, you breathe. If it drops, you tremble. If someone says yes, you feel safe. If someone delays, you spiral. Chosen one, God is healing that place because no created thing was meant to hold the throne of your peace. This is why heaven has allowed the old fear to surface. Not because you are failing, not because you are cursed, not because you are behind. It is surfacing because the false agreement is being exposed. And once a fear is exposed in the light of God, it can no longer rule from the dark. So listen with your whole spirit. You were never uncovered. You were trained by pain to live like covering could vanish. You were trained by disappointment to expect loss before blessing. You were trained by closed doors to assume every new door would close too. But training can be broken. Patterns can be broken. Agreements can be broken. From this moment, stop rehearsing lack like it is prophecy. Stop treating fear like wisdom. Stop calling panic responsibility. Stop shrinking your decisions to match yesterday. You can be careful without being controlled. You can be wise without being afraid. You can plan without worshipping the plan, because heaven can move in ways your plan never saw coming. And this is why I need to speak carefully about the tool I mentioned earlier. The Genius Song is not a replacement for prayer. It is not a substitute for obedience. It is not a promise that money falls from the sky. It is a 7-minute audio designed to support the mind through brainwave entrainment, so clarity can rise where pressure has been loud. Dr. Robert Lake spent 34 years studying the brain and how sound can help guide certain brainwave states. The focus here is gamma, a powerful brainwave connected with insight, attention, intuition, and flow. Researchers at MIT, Princeton, Harvard, and other leading universities have explored how brain rhythms relate to learning, clarity, and higher processing. For the chosen one, that matters because your gift has never been only emotional. You have always had a way of knowing. You have sensed shifts before they were visible. You have felt doors before they opened. You have carried ideas that came faster than explanation. But pressure, disappointment, and survival can bury that sharpness under noise. The Genius Song was created as a simple way to help reactivate that buried clarity. You put on headphones, you listen for 7 minutes. You do not need a complicated meditation practice. You do not need to repeat a mantra. You do not need to force a feeling. You simply give your mind a clean space to move out of noise and back toward focus. Think about what people often spend money on while trying to feel clear. A meditation app can cost about $15 each month. An online growth course can cost $100 to $200. One therapy session may cost about $150. A weekend retreat can rise from $400 to $800, and those things still may not target gamma directly. That is why this offer was made simple. The original price of the Genius Song is $49, but for viewers of this message, it is available for $39. It is one time. There is no monthly subscription. There is no shipping fee. It is digital, so the audio is delivered by email without waiting for a package. More than 18,366 people have already used it. And the trust signal is not only the number of users. The stronger signal is that fewer than 4% ask for a refund, which means the overwhelming majority keep using it beyond the guarantee window. That kind of quiet proof matters more than loud promises, and Dr. Lake included 4 bonuses with it. You receive Genius Child, valued at $19. You receive a classic book, valued at $20. You receive guided visualization, valued at $29. You receive the 5-habit infographic, valued at $12. Together, the bonuses alone carry $80 of value, included with the $39 audio. There is also a 90-day money-back guarantee. If you use it and decide it is not for you, you can email for a full refund. There are no strange conditions. There is nothing to ship back because it is digital. And even if you receive a refund, you keep all 4 bonuses because your time and trust are being respected. But I need to protect you here. There are fake pages, copied names, and ordinary audios trying to use the genius song name. Those copies do not carry the original brain entrainment technology, the bonuses, or the guarantee. Do not search for it on Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, or random pages. Use only the link in the description and the pinned comment. Now pause with me. Take one slow breath. Place your hand over your chest if you can. Let your body hear what your spirit already knows. This is not about whether $39 is a transaction. This is about whether you are ready to stop living like fear is your financial covering. If your spirit recognizes this step, you will know. The link is below, in the description and the pinned comment. Do not move from panic. Move from peace. Do not move because you feel pressured. Move because clarity is calling you back, and because the old agreement with scarcity has been broken. Chosen one, the hidden blocker has been named. You were not waiting for God to remember you. You were learning how to stop obeying the fear that told you he had forgotten. Your finances are not only being covered, your relationship with provision is being healed, and the version of you that panicked for survival is losing its authority. Chosen one, breathe again. The hardest part of this message has already been spoken. The hidden fear has been named. The old agreement has been exposed. You are not uncovered. You are not abandoned. You are not late. Heaven is not standing far away from your life, watching you struggle without response. Now receive this with peace. God is not only covering a bill, he is covering your mind. He is covering your timing. He is covering your next instruction. He is covering the gap between what you can see and what he has already arranged. And when heaven covers a life, it does not always begin with noise. Sometimes it begins with quiet. So do not rush from this moment. Do not run back into panic. Do not pick up the burden again just because your eyes have not yet seen every detail. Faith is not pretending the need is small. Faith is refusing to let the need become your master, because the size of the need does not cancel the authority of God. If your spirit recognized the genius song when I spoke about it, the original link is in the description and the pinned comment. Use that link only. That is where the real 7-minute audio, the 4 bonuses, and the 90-day guarantee are protected. Do not search random places for it. Let your step be clear, peaceful, and guided. Now listen to what heaven is restoring in you. You are being restored to calm decision-making. You are being restored to clean discernment. You are being restored to the ability to sense a door without worshipping it. You are being restored to the courage to say no to what drains you, and yes to what carries purpose. The next provision may not come the way you expected. It may come through a conversation. It may come through an offer. It may come through a delayed approval. It may come through one idea that arrives while your mind is quiet. It may come through a person who remembers your name at the exact right time. It may come through debt being handled. It may come through a bill being moved. It may come through work you did not chase. It may come through wisdom that helps you stop bleeding money through fear, guilt, and pressure. Provision is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is precise. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is hidden until the appointed moment. But whatever form it takes, do not return to the old identity. Do not call yourself broke when heaven calls you covered. Do not call yourself unlucky when heaven calls you guided. Do not call yourself forgotten when heaven has been moving pieces behind the veil. Your current view is not the full map, and your current pressure is not the final word. You are a cycle breaker of financial fear. This is bigger than one account. This is bigger than 1 month. This is bigger than one urgent need. The fear that chased your family line does not get to own your future. The panic that shaped old decisions does not get to govern your next season. You will not teach the next version of your life to bow to lack. You will not pass fear forward as wisdom. You will not confuse exhaustion with responsibility. You will not keep apologizing for needing help, because even prophets needed ravens, widows, brooks, rooms, angels, and instructions from heaven. God never asked you to be your own source. He asked you to trust the source. There is a difference. When you try to be your own source, everything depends on your strength. When you trust the source, you still move, work, listen, plan, and obey, but you no longer worship your own ability to control every outcome. That is why peace is returning. Not because every visible detail is solved in this second. Peace is returning because the throne is being restored. Numbers are not your throne. People are not your throne. Jobs are not your throne. Approvals are not your throne. God alone is your throne. Say this in your spirit. I am not ruled by fear. Say it slowly. I am not ruled by lack. Let the words settle. I am not ruled by delay. Let your body hear it. I am covered by God. I am guided by wisdom. I am open to provision. I am ready to move with peace. Now place your attention on your breath. Inhale slowly. Exhale the panic. Inhale trust. Exhale the old agreement. Inhale clarity. Exhale confusion. Inhale provision. Exhale shame. The fear that lived in your chest does not get to stay there as a permanent resident. Your body is learning a new language now. From now on, when a need appears, you will not immediately collapse inside. You will pause. You will breathe. You will ask for wisdom. You will listen for instruction. You will check what is practical without surrendering your peace. You will move with order, not chaos, because your provision is not partnered with confusion. When the number looks tight, you will not curse your future. When the answer is delayed, you will not assume abandonment. When a door closes, you will not call yourself rejected. When help comes from an unexpected place, you will not sabotage it with suspicion. You will learn to receive without flinching, because being covered is becoming normal to you. And if your heart is ready, write this in the comments. My life is covered. My mind is clear. My provision is aligned. Do not write it as a slogan. Write it as agreement. Write it as a seal. Write it as a witness that fear no longer has permission to narrate your financial story. Like this message as an act of agreement that panic is losing its voice. Share it with one chosen one who has been carrying bills, pressure, and silent fear alone. Someone needs this reminder before they make another decision from exhaustion. Someone needs to hear that God has not left them uncovered. Now receive this prayer. Father, cover the one listening right now. Cover their mind, cover their home, cover their work, cover their decisions. Cover every place where fear has been louder than faith. Let confusion break. Let shame break. Let the old agreement with lack break, and let their spirit recognize the sound of divine instruction again. Restore clarity where pressure created fog. Restore courage where delay created doubt. Restore peace where numbers created panic. Restore discernment where desperation created confusion. Send provision through the channel you have chosen, and give them the wisdom to recognize it without fear. Let no counterfeit door steal their attention from the true path. Bless their hands with clean work. Bless their mind with sharp insight. Bless their heart with steady trust. Bless their home with peace. Bless their timing with alignment. Remove the burden of false responsibility and teach them how to move as someone who is loved, led, protected, and covered. Chosen one, it is not over for you. It is turning. The old fear is losing its grip. The old panic is losing its authority. The old story is losing its voice. You are not walking into the next season as a beggar. You are walking as a covered child of God, guided by wisdom, surrounded by grace, and prepared for provision. So breathe one more time. Let the weight come down. Let the fear release its grip. Let the word covered settle into your bones. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not outside the care of heaven. Your finances are being covered, your mind is being restored, and your life is moving into divine order.